Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about 15 spending habits that keep us in debt. If you're joining me for this live broadcast tonight, go ahead and take time to like and share this video. I have with me again tonight my beautiful co-host, Miss Malaya Bray.
Was I supposed to say something?
It's okay. Just let everybody know something good tonight.
Like what?
What's good? What'd you do good today?
I ate today.
All
I
right.
ate real good today.
All right, we're going to give you time to go ahead and call up one of your friends, your loved ones that could benefit from tonight's live broadcast. And in the meantime, as you can see, I have on my new favorite shirt, Goals for Financial Freedom. If you don't have yours already, you can get yours at our CWF Babes Tees. It's inspirational wear that says it all. So these are my goals, and I say it loud and I'm proud. So if you're joining us out there on Facebook Live today, or if you're watching the replay of this video, we are honored and glad to have you with us. So 15 spending habits that keep us in debt or in a financial crisis. Number one, failure to use a good working budget. And we talked about creating a budget last night in yesterday's how to think about finances. So we know that creating a budget is so important to obtaining financial independence, overcoming debt, and just being able to do more and stretching our dollars more when we have a good working budget. Now, some of us have budgets, but they're not good budgets. They're not thought all the way through. And so as a result of that, if we don't have a good working budget, it keeps us compounding debt on top of debt on top of debt. And before you know it, we're just overwhelmed financially, and it's hard to make those ends meet. So creating a new working budget, a budget that works, a budget that meets your financial needs and the needs of your family for today would be a good idea to reconsider moving forward for the remainder of 2020. If you're with us tonight and you understand what I'm saying, go ahead and hit that like button so that I know that you're there and that you understand what I'm saying with number one. Number two, financially supporting adult children and or other family members. This is another barrier that hurts us financially. Now, we love our children and we love our family members, and we feel like it is our due diligence to support them. But there's a fine line between supporting and enabling. And so we have to know the difference. Are we supporting, helping them to get past a certain point? Because we know that there's always a time when we need help from someone, but are we enabling? Have they lived with us 6 months or more and we fail to allow them place to contribute to the household? Anywhere that we live, there's a responsibility. There's bills to pay. There's food that has to be purchased to eat. And so supporting another adult or another individual without them pulling their fair load or their fair share of the financial responsibility, that in return keeps us in financial poverty. Malaya, what do you think about financially supporting another adult? What's the difference that you see? What example can you think of, or that can you give?
Um, I guess like if somebody asks like, can they move in? Like something happened, they got like fired from their job or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then they end up staying like a few years instead of a few months. I feel like that's enabling.
Yeah, that's enabling it when it goes to that point. Especially when we have 30-year-old kids that we're still financially supporting. They're still dependent on us, but yet they're not making any sacrifices. And they're continuing to take, and never really pulling their fair weight. So at that point, they're manipulating to continue to get what they want, but they're still continuing to live in the lifestyle that they have grown accustomed to. And that is a hindrance to our financial future and our financial goals for freedom and reaching that financial independence. If you're with us tonight and you understand, go ahead and like and share that video that we're doing now. Go ahead and like and share so I know that you're there. Go ahead and send me some hearts. We are now on number 3 of 15 habits, spending habits, financial habits that keep us in debt. Number 3 is supporting expensive habits and addictions. And I must say that we all have some habit or addiction that at one time or another, either it is or it has cost us money, and we can see ourselves growing deeper and deeper in debt behind it. One thing about habits and addictions is that we're going to support them, and it's going to cost us. And we're going to feed that habit or that addiction. And oftentimes, while we're feeding that habit or addiction, we're letting other things be neglected in our life. We let other things go lack. So this is another way that we dig ourselves deeper and deeper in debt. If we continue to feed the habit, feed the addictions, it takes a toll on our finances. And oftentimes when we're looking at number 1, creating the budget that works, oftentimes those habits and those addictions that we have that are costing us, we're not including that in our budget. It's just like the elephant in the room. It's there and it's not there. We act like we don't see it or that we don't know it's there. So this is one of the habits that we have, supporting addictions and habits. Some addictions are shopping. Some are narcotics. Some are sexual. But whatever the case, whatever your habit or your addiction is, it's going to cost you money in the long run. So that's something that you need to look into. Number 4, impulse buying. Impulse buying. This is that buying that we have not put in our budget. This is that buying that we got our paycheck today and we're going to the store and, ooh, they got this new pair of shoes on sale and I just got to have it. That is an impulse spending. Impulse spending cost us on average over $200 a month. Things that we didn't intend to spend, things that we didn't budget for, but because we got a good deal and it was on sale, we find ourselves spending money on these things. Malaya, what kind of impulse spending have you done in the last 30 days? What did you impulsively buy? Food.
Food.
So food is important to you during this time. And they have those impulse sales at the fast food restaurants, right? You can get a combo today, a 2 for $5, or 2 can eat for $10, or 3 for $10, like Chili's have now going on. before all this shut down, 3 entrees for $10. And so that's appealing to us. So we find ourselves impulsively spending money on things that we have not put in our budget to do. If you're with me and you understand what I'm saying, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and like and share this video. Go ahead and call up a friend to let them know that we're here talking about 15 spending habits that keep us in debt. Number 5, failure to discipline and sacrifice. Did you know that in order to have a good, healthy relationship with your money, you have to have discipline and make sacrifices? We talked a little bit yesterday about our vehicles and being wrecked or getting out of fix. I could have easily went and borrowed money to say, hey, I need this fixed and I need it right now. But I had to maintain self-control, self-discipline, and I had to sacrifice giving up another vehicle in place of the ones that are down. Or she had to sacrifice driving a wrecked car for the time being so that we can keep our financial goals and planning under wraps. So how has it been, Malaya, making that sacrifice, knowing that every time you get in that car it reminds you of January 25th?
I mean, it's kind of a good thing because I can't go anywhere at nighttime because the headlight is out. So I guess in that way, it keeps me from going to get stuff I don't need, and like staying out of trouble, I guess.
So it's different too with your mom not just fixing things right away too, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So it takes that discipline and that sacrifice, and it's a sacrifice more so on her part because she has to now drive a vehicle that is drivable but shows damage of the collision that she had on January 25th. But we work through it, and oftentimes we don't maintain that discipline and self-control, and we just gotta have it right now. But if it's working, let it work until you can build financially so that you can plan toward getting those Here we go. Okay. So we can plan toward getting those fixes and things like that we feel are important, but not necessarily got to have it done right now and then. Go ahead and like and share this video, and we're glad that you're with us and that you've joined us tonight. If you're there, go ahead and send me some hearts up so that I know that you're there. I appreciate you taking the sacrifice to join us tonight. We know that it is a sacrifice for you, but we feel like tonight's video is so important. We're talking about 15 spending habits that keep us in debt. So maybe you're not where you can just overcome your debt situation or your spending habits overnight, because we didn't get here overnight. But with the tips that we're giving you and the awareness that we're giving you tonight, maybe you can start making small financial changes.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe you can start making small financial changes and habits so that going forth in the remainder of 2020 and hereafter, you're able to make better financial decisions. If you've made an impulsive purchase in the last 24 hours, go ahead and hit that like button. In the last 24 hours, if you made an impulsive purchase, go ahead and hit that like button. I have not. I have not. I am learning that discipline and that self-control, and it has been the biggest delightful reward and feeling of self-fulfillment that I've had in a long time. So I am so grateful. Number 6, borrowing from the payday loans or from the loan companies. When you borrow money from the payday loan advance or the loan companies, the interest rates on these companies are so high, it's almost so hard to get out of it. Oftentimes when you borrow money from payday loans or from the loan companies as we know it here in Southeast Oklahoma, it takes us anywhere from 6 months to over a year to pay those loans. And not only that, when we pay them back and when you do the numbers, you're probably paying back more than double of what you've initially borrowed. Especially if before you pay it off, you go back and reborrow and reborrow again.
Okay.
You look like you wanted to say something. Did you know that? Did you know that about payday loans or payday advances?
No, that's why I was just paying attention.
Mm-hmm. So do you want, if you were to ask the question to me, why do people borrow from those places? They borrow from those places because the loans from those places are easy to get. Oftentimes, you don't have to have a good credit score. And so they make their money by putting themselves in areas of poverty so that people that live in poverty can go and borrow money from those places. And that's the way they make their money, is through the interest that we pay. They give us a amount of money to pay back every month, and we make that payment throughout the months from 6 to 12 months. Remember me saying it's going to take you to pay it back. And for every $100 we give them, they're keeping 40 of it. And so we're only paying 60% at that time to pay that back. My suggestion that going forward, if you are one that needs a loan and you're doing it as a form of building credit, because that's a lot of what we say, that we're borrowing the money so that we can build our credit. My suggestion moving forward is that you go to your bank, go to your local bank, talk to a loan officer there at the bank, and talk with them about what your hopes for building credit moving forward and borrow from there. I think that would be a more beneficial option. And a lot of times with loans that are under $1,500 or somewhere between $500 and $1,500, oftentimes your credit score won't be an issue there. So it's a good option before considering the payday loans or the the finance companies. I'm sorry. That would be a more beneficial option. So if you like what I'm saying and you enjoyed that tip about visiting a local bank instead of the payday cash advance places, go ahead and hit that like button now. We're moving on to number 7. Purchasing items with credit cards instead of cash. And this is what I'm guilty of. Oftentimes, if I see something I want, instead of paying cash for it, I used a credit card. And that's how I got caught up in credit card debt, because I was spending money that I did not have, nor did I have a budget in place, a working budget in place to pay that money back. So the thing with credit cards, they also have interest. And if you use a credit card And at the end of the month, when your payment's due, you're only making minimal payment. You're paying interest on the money you borrow. So the good thing about some credit cards now is that they have a rewards program. So when you use that credit card instead of cash, for the purchases you make, you get 5% cash back in rewards. And that money builds up, and you're able to apply that as a payment towards your credit card or toward a purchase on another item of something of some sort. So Capital One is a good one, known for those reward programs. And that is the one that I personally use now. The only difference with the way I spend now is that I don't use the credit cards to make purchases on money that I haven't budgeted for. And at the end of the month, instead of making minimum monthly payments, now I pay the credit card off in full, because that's what I've allotted in my budget, how it works. And I can build up that extra cash from the rewards and also apply it to my card. So it works. Now with my plan, I use cash. I set aside a certain amount of cash per week. And when that amount of cash per week is gone, it's gone. I don't get any more spending. So that is my weekly allowance. So I have to hold myself accountable. That comes back with that discipline and self-sacrifice. Now that I'm at that point to where I can do that and I can have cash and include things in my budget for paying the credit card back for what I use those for to build up those reward points, I am now more intentional with my finances, because I don't want to get to the end of the week and not have any money left. So how have your spending habits help you with even your debit card? Because that's what I've given you as a college student to spend. You have to use your debit card, and that's the way you get your money. So tell how using a debit card has helped you or hindered you in your spending.
Well, I feel like it helps because I don't have like cash like on me to like tempt me to go buy something. So if I put my card like away where I can't see it, then I don't think about going to get something. So it helps.
It helps because also it's a debit card, so you can only spend what I've given you for that month to put in.
Yeah.
And so over the past 12 months, I guess, the spending habits have changed, hadn't they? The older you've gotten, the less and less of a budget you've been able to.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just stepping stones. So if you understand what I was talking about between credit cards and cash, the difference and how those habits keep us in financial debt, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already liked and shared this video, go ahead and do that now at this time as well. We are on number 8. Only paying minimal amounts on your loans or credit cards. And I know some of these are overlapping, but these are habits that we have practiced over and over again, and we wonder, how in the world did we get this mountain of debt? This is how, one of the habits that we've created to pile the debts up. So when you only pay those minimums, then the debt adds up. You think you're paying $100 toward that $500 debt, but really in reality, only $60 or $80 may be actually going toward that debt. So that's $20 that's going to that credit card server or provider that's unaccounted for, and you're giving them that $20 or $30 every month just to use their card. So this is how our debts add up. If you understand what I'm saying, or you know a little bit about what I'm saying, making only those minimal payments, especially on those department store credit cards, go ahead and hit that heart button now. Because I'm guilty. I've been there before I understood what was going on and why it took so long to pay off this debt when I was making the minimum monthly payments. It seems like we never get it paid off. It's because of the interest rates that go along with having the convenience of using that card. Not only that, some cards also have annual fees. And when you add those annual fees on top of the debt that you already owe, it just continues to increase the balance. Tonight, we're talking about 15 spending habits that keep us in debt or in a financial crisis. We know that in the crisis that we have going on in our society today, financial debt is inevitable for most of us. You know, we have to make adjustments with jobs closing down for temporarily. We don't even know how long. Some of us may be at home with pay, and we don't know what type of adjustments that are going to be made with that. One thing's for sure is that we can't continue the same lifestyle without making some type of financial sacrifice. I'd rather make some lifestyle changes now and develop new habits now than to find myself trying to uphold this image and continue to drown and keep myself further and further in debt. So that's something to think about. If you like what I'm saying, and if you understand what I'm saying, how important it is to make those adjustments in your finances, not only in your day-to-day living, go ahead and hit that like button at this time. We are on number 9. And I don't take this lightly. And don't be offended. If you are paying more than $500 a month renting somebody else's house, renting somebody else's apartment, you are putting yourself in a financial crisis. Most people owning homes do not pay mortgages as high as you pay for somebody else's rent. Now, I'm not judging one way or another. You do what you do to make it work for you and your family. But I would tell you, you are just throwing money away. How awesome would it be to get with a credit repair person and repair your credit if that's the issue, and own your own stuff and invest that type of money into your legacy? Remember we talked about last night thinking long term, being legacy focused, changing our mindset when it comes to finances. There is no need, usually, for any of us to have to pay that amount of money to keep somebody else's dreams alive. Because in reality, that's what I'm doing. If you agree with me, hit that heart button. It is just money going down the drain. And believe me, when it comes to 1st of the month, the 5th of the month, the 15th of the month, the 30th of the month, they want their money. They don't care what kind of financial situation you're in. They don't care what kind of financial struggles you're in. They come with their hand out, bold and they want their money. It's an awesome thing to be in a situation to where you're financially free enough that you can make those type of financial investments within yourself. Number 10, failure to invest in yourself. When we fail to invest in ourselves, it costs us financially. What do I mean when I say invest in ourselves? When you hear me say invest in yourself, Malaya, what does that mean to you?
I don't know.
You don't know, and so many people probably don't know when I say invest in themselves. You have seen me over the past years take classes. You have seen me at home learning, studying. I have talked to you about IRAs, money that I've put in investments or stocks and things like that. That's investing in yourself. That is taking what's important to you, investing that time or that money into it to build you, to help you in the long run. And oftentimes, we fail to do this. We fail to put ourselves in a place that we can learn. If you like what I'm saying, go ahead and hit that like button. Like it and share it. Somebody can use it. Somebody can use this information. We fail to put ourselves in a position that we can learn and grow and develop ourselves. If you don't invest in you, who will?
Nobody.
Nobody. If I don't invest in me, why would you want to be sitting here next to me? And I'm just putting out a bunch of wind. You have to sit next to me. You have to believe in something or agree with something or be influenced some kind of way about what I'm talking about. I got to know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And if I don't invest in me, how am I going to teach you or your sister how to invest in yourselves? Be pretty hard to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be pretty hard to do. And you got a business. That business helps you invest in what's important to you, your livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of royalties do you get from that business?
What do you mean by royalties?
What do you get to do with the money you make from your small business?
Buy food.
We've already established that food is important to her, and that's all right. I'd rather for her to be getting full, I guess, than living out in danger. So that car, like she said, kind of keeps her grounded a little bit. So if you have a comment, go ahead and leave us a comment over in the comment section tonight. We're talking about the 15 spending habits that keep us in debt. We are on number 11, poor health and eating habits. What does that have to do about finances? Well, I'll tell you, it has everything to do with finances. If you have poor health, you will most likely incur debt on top of debt on top of debt. Because if you're in poor health, you're spending money at the doctor's office. You're spending money on pills and medicine. You're spending money to find a quick fix for a long-term situation or crisis. And oftentimes, our poor health is a result of poor eating habits. So that $5 or $10 that you spend every day going through the drive-thru, or stopping off at the convenience stores to grab those sugary snacks and drinks, over time, it results in poor health. So we spend money trying to fix or solve a problem that poor spending habits got us into in the first place. So it's an ongoing cycle. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment, because I know you know what I'm talking about. And this doesn't just start at 40 or 60 years old. These are habits that we're teaching our young kids. Stopping by the donut shop in the morning. And they crave that. And you wonder why they crave that sugar. These are habits that we teach them at an early age. So those habits continue to grow. And as they continue to crave those sugary drinks and snacks, or those Happy Meals or snack packs or whatever it is that they are that we pull up in the drive-through to get because we don't want to take time to plan out our meals, in the long term, you're going to put yourself in further financial bondage because of these habits. Their health is failing. Their minds aren't as sharp. When my kids were younger, I don't know that they knew what a McDonald's or a Brahms or Sonic, I don't know that they knew what those things were. It was a while before my children understood what it was to go to a fast food restaurant. If we went out to eat, it was a treat. It was almost like Christmas coming, because that was something that, as a single parent raising two young ladies, that was something that I just didn't do. And it wasn't because I didn't have the financial means. It was because their health was important to me. And not only their health, but my health as well. So a home-cooked meal on any day of the week is a good habit to start. Because if you're getting fast food 4 days a week, take one of those days to cook at home. And then maybe you can build it up to 2 days at home, then 3 days at home. So you build it up, you make those small sacrifices, those small changes until you develop more healthier habits. So are you having to eat out more since you've been home from college this week, or have you ate less out since you've been home?
I don't think I ate out at all since I've been home.
So it's probably saved you quite a bit of money, huh? Mm-hmm. And how does your body feel eating a home-cooked meal versus eating out fast food? Does it stick with you, stick to your bones?
Yeah, I feel bigger. Like I done gained some weight.
But it's a good weight, right?
Yes.
It's a good weight. We're eating vegetables, plenty of leafy vegetables, only a little bit of meat. And I tell you what, it's filling and it sticks with us. And you can eat more of that and still maintain a good, healthy weight without having to worry about spending unnecessary money in fast foods, resulting in poor health and continuously poor eating habits. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Push those like buttons, whatever it takes to let me know that you're there. I see you. Let me know that you understand what we're talking about, because tonight we're talking about 15 spending habits that continue to keep us in debt. It helps us understand how we got there in debt, and it also, I'm trying to give you practical resources and ways that you can overcome that. So we are on number 12. And again, with number 12, I don't mean any harm when I say this. I can only say what I believe is true. And one thing you will learn about me is that I don't have an ulterior motive. Anything I say is I'm saying it for the betterment of you, because it's important to me that you are knowledgeable and that you live better and that you live well. I live on the 3 pillars of to educate, to empower, and encourage. And if I did that so far for you tonight, if I've educated, empowered, or encouraged you in any way, go ahead and hit those heart buttons. Number 12. When we fail to read and learn, we put ourselves in financial poverty. We continue to dig ourselves deeper into financial crisis. And that's one thing as a culture here in Southeast Oklahoma, we do not read. I'm guilty. I'm one of them. I wrote this book here, and I didn't write it because I was a reader. I didn't write it because I can read so well. I wrote it because I wanted to share with you my journey on recreating my life and what it takes. Because if I can do it, I honestly believe that you can do it too. I was not a reader, and now I find myself reading. And the good thing about technology today is I don't have to pick up a book and do this and strain my eyes trying to read the words while they're crawling all across the pages. Technology has made it so much easier when they have books on audio. And when you're reading books from those who done it best and taught it best, like Napoleon Hill or Susie Orman or Miles Monroe, when you can hear the words and sit there and meditate on what the reader is telling from the pages, for me, it just makes it so much better. So if you don't read, and I'm not talking about those romance novels or Reader's Digest, all that stuff that is non-productive, is not going to help you produce anything in your life. If you're not reading things that are productive and line up with the goals that you have set for your life, you're doing yourself a disservice. Reading and learning helps put you in a position to where you are going to be more financially secure in the long run. It's not going to be a quick fix. It's not going to happen overnight. But the knowledge that you get from reading from those that were successful at what they've done, that's going to help you. Hit that like button or put a comment in the comment section if you know what I'm talking about. Number 13, being reluctant to make lifestyle changes. And I hit on that a little bit earlier in one of the earlier numbers. When your finances change, you have to make changes. When your job situations change, you have to make lifestyle changes. You may have had a job last year to where you can get your hair and nails done every week. Well, now you don't have a job that supports that. So now you can only do that once a month, or maybe once every 2 months, or once every 3 months. Whatever the situation, you have to be willing, not reluctant. You have to be willing to make those adjustments in your lifestyle. You may have had a job last year that allowed you to drive a luxury car. You may have a job this year or been cut in your hours or your pay or had to change jobs that only allows you to drive a car that's paid for, a $1,500 car that you had to go to the bank to get a signature loan for, to pay for. You have to be willing to make those adjustments if you want to be financially secure. Now, you can continue to try to uphold those lifestyles when your financial situation or your job situation change. But if you do, you're going to continue to pile debt on top of debt on top of debt. Number 14, failure to plan and set goals. And if you're like me, that's one of the toughest things that we've had to do. Plan and set goals. It's not an easy thing to do, but I tell you guys, in order to reach that financial independence, it is necessary. My niece, she talked about having a girls' night at her house one night and doing a vision board or going to a vision board party. And I've never heard of anything as such, a vision board or something like that. But then once I got to looking into it, that was a good plan. That was a good plan. So if I'm sitting with you and we're going over this board and we got our goals and our plans lined up, now we can hang it up, and now we have something that's going to hold us accountable. Now we have something to look forward to. Now, that's not to say that everything is going to happen the way that we plan it to happen. That's not going to say that obstacles and barriers are not going to get in our way, but it continues to give us something to press for, to press toward. And that's what's most important, because you move toward the things that are in front of you. You move toward the things that are in front of you. If you understand, if you get what I just said, go ahead and hit that heart button. Don't forget to like and share this video as we're moving into number 15 of our 15 spending habits that continue to keep us in debt or in a financial crisis. Number 15, failure to regulate the company you keep. What in the world does that have to do with my finances? Well, I tell you what, if you hang with poor, negative, critical, condescending, manipulating, controlling people, the same is going to happen with your finances. You're going to be poor. Your finances are going to be in the negative. You're never going to be able to make them reach. You remember what you shared about your friends, right? Partying and getting into trouble and going places that maybe you shouldn't go. Don't it cost you money when you hang out?
Oh, yes. When did I say that?
You talked about it yesterday. You was telling us about it. But did it cost you money? It's going to cost you gas money.
Sometimes you got to pay to get in. You don't want to go out to eat afterwards.
That's right. Buy the outfit, get the hair, get the nails.
Makeup.
So, I mean, who you are connected to matters. And if you got a friend that likes to waste those finances and just splurge and living it up and whatever else, and they draw you in and influence you instead of you influence them, it's going to cost you. It's going to affect your finances. It's hard to keep up with the Joneses, baby. It's hard. I tell you what, I don't even try. Remember what I told you yesterday? I told you last night that the best word that you can keep in your vocabulary is what? No.
like,
No. So when you learn to tell those friends that aren't going nowhere and want you to go with them, when you learn to tell them no, you're going to be so much better off financially. I can promise you that. Because they're going to be so much happier to see you broke and disgusted and worrying about where your next pack of diapers are going to come from or how you're going to pay for child care this week. They're going to be so delighted to keep you in poverty, keep you right there with them because they're not going anywhere. So we just have to keep our circle small. A lot of times we look at that as a negative. We want everybody to like us. Everybody don't have to like me, and everybody don't have to come along. Because if you're coming along with me, I'm holding you to a higher standard. I'm holding you to a higher standard. If you know what I'm talking about, go ahead and hit that heart button. Leave me a comment because you know I'm telling the truth. It's important to me that you live your best life now. If I'm going to live my best life, everything connected to me has to live their best life. I hope that you have liked and shared this video tonight so that you can share it with those that are on your timeline. I hope that something has been said tonight to help you moving forward in 2020. We're going to finish this education series tomorrow night, same time. I'll try to get on here as close to 10 o'clock as I can, not before 10 o'clock, but as close to 10 o'clock p.m. as I can. I appreciate you sacrificing your time this evening to learn with us and to join us tonight for 15 spending habits that keeps us in financial crisis or debt. Good night, everybody.